Whoa, watch what you doing, son. Watch the gators, man. Oh, my bad. This is Armani right here. This is tailor-made, man. This ain't that Jamaica Avenue shit. Pardon, you know? Hand me my cufflinks. I'm simply the best.
How you doing, Paul?
I'm alright, mate, I'm alright.
He's a former world champion, European champion, British champion, and that's in K1, is that right?
Yeah.
He's done a bit of unlicensed boxing and stuff like that. He's due to play Lee Duffy in the new Sears film also, so I'm going to get some words from him today. Paul, how's things? How's been?
I'm good, mate, I'm good, yeah.
In a good place at the minute?
Yeah.
Good.
So, do you know in between, like, because obviously we know that you're playing Lee Duffy, in between filming and training, what do you do on it? Do you work full time or?
I was working, but since I've had this movie role, I've just been sat chilling out. I've had, you know, just spending time with the family and stuff like that.
That's what you've got to do, mate. Right, we'll talk about the fighting straight off the bat. What got you into it? What you got into fighting?
I don't know, when I realised that I could fight was about 15, 16 year olds, you know, and start building a bit of a reputation for myself and stuff, but kind of the wrong way. I ended up in prison.
Oh, right.
And when I got out, there was a gym opening from where, like, I've done a couple of years in jail. And when I got out, there was a gym there that wasn't there before I went to prison. It was like a mixed martial arts gym, Impact Martial Arts, and a friend was running it. And they just said, look, why don't you come and keep out of trouble and stuff, you know? So they were doing kickboxing, K1, grappling, they'd done everything in there, boxing, they'd done everything. Yeah. So obviously I had a little bit of a boxing background. I was half decent, you know what I mean? So I started going just to keep out of trouble. And I loved it. Brilliant. You know what I mean? But the thing was, I had no money at the time, you know what I mean? I was skint and that. But the guy was just letting me use it for free, just to keep me out of trouble, which was...
That's spot on,
So I was training in there for about 2 or 3 months, and there was a guy coming down. He was fighting K1 for the world title in Italy, and he was heavyweight, and obviously I was heavyweight, but we had another heavyweight in there, and he was meant to be doing 10 to 12 rounds with this kid, like good rounds, you know what I mean? But our lad from our gym hurt himself in the second round, so this lad had travelled to do the rounds, so he was a bit gutted about it, do you know what I mean? So the coach said, Ven, do you want to jump in? And I was like, yeah, well, I'll jump in. So I jumped in. I absolutely battered this kid from pillar to post, and this kid went and won a world title in Italy. So my coach was telling me, saying, look, power down, you'll fight him. I said, you're going to turn me pro like you? Yeah. This was in the corner in the middle of the rounds. So you're going to turn me pro like you? Yeah. He said, power down. So after this kid won the world title in Italy, and then I had my first fight in Middlesbrough, and I stopped the kid in about 20 seconds, and then I called him out.
All right.
And he retired.
So when you started, you started when you were 15, 16. You're a massive lad now. Were you quite a big lad when you were that?
I've always been a heavy set lad, but believe it or not, I was a good footballer.
All right.
I was banging the football. I was in and out of clubs. I was at Hartlepool for a while, and you know I played semi-pro for a while. But I should have never kicked the ball, but I was good. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. To be fair, I've blown smoke at my own arse. I was pretty good at most sports, but I didn't look like I should have been because I was a big set lad.
Yeah.
But truth be told, if I could turn back time, I'd have never kicked the ball, I think. I'd have just done combat sports. Yeah. I fell into it late, do you know what I mean? But, you know, no regrets, it is what it is.
How did you first feel when you first stepped into the combat, in the boxing?
What it was it's a mad little story, because it was my cousin's birthday, and we went out on a drink in South Bank. And what happened was, there was loads of Asian kids and all coming in, and we knew who they were from South Bank. They were all kickboxers and stuff. And there was a still putting a show on the local pub, and he says, he popped his head in. He was called Nadine, but he was a lovely bloke, good kickboxer, good coach, lovely bloke. But I wasn't into the kickboxing, the fancy dancy kicking and all, and the pads on the legs. I wasn't into it. And he says, "Man, you can have a fight, can't you?" I went, "Yeah, will I?" He went, "Do you want to come upstairs?" One of the heavyweights pulled out and jumped in. I went, "No, don't. Now, cousin, like, it's my birthday, you have to. How will be a good crack, So I was like, oh my God, I was full of drink and God knows whatever. So I was like, oh God, alright then, yes, I'll do it. So I went home, got washed, tried to freshen myself up, come up. I had this fight upstairs, and this kid had 4 fights in 1 fall. He was about 6'6", kicked like an horse. And I was like, wow. I ended up knocking him out in the 3rd round.
Good.
I caught him with a perler, just knocked him out, just swinging for the hills. And there was a couple of big heads from Middlesbrough there, like watching her there and throw down and watching us and that. And I got offered to do unlicensed boxing and stuff. Yeah. And but then it was surreal then, do you know what I mean? I didn't have time to think about that fight. I was drunk, I was whatever, do you know what I mean? I didn't have time to think about that. But when I got off to do this boxing, nice boxing, you train, you wait in the changing rooms and you're excited, you're feeling and all that. I'd never felt it, and I just always remember there was a fire exit door in the corner. And it looked really appealing, just a bail. And you know, and I was only human, and I knew, like, I thought, wow, what am I doing here, do you know what I mean? 1 or 2 fights, I fucking knew that's what I was made for. I was made to be in there fucking fighting, do you know what I mean? I knew that.
What was the toughest fight early on in your career?
Mad, probably Gary Fairby taught me the right lesson. Because even though I was doing the white collar boxing and like it was people who thought they were hard, it was ex-dominant, it was stuff like that, you know, and it was just all reputation bullshit. That's what it was for me. I wanted to be the hardest really out fighting. It was all crap. But I just had a good shot and I could take a good punch. I had no skill, no ability, no nothing. I was just a tough kid. And when I hit people, they were just going to sleep. So little did I know, I took this fight on a week's notice, and Gary Fairby come down and boxed us and absolutely taught me a lesson. But luckily enough, every time he hit him, he went down. So I was winning the round, do you know what I mean? But wow, after that fight, that was when I started taking it serious, because I thought, wow, he was fucking tough, him. And he, not just that, he was a fucking brilliant boxer.
He was Gary.
He was a good boxer, he taught me a lesson. And I just remember like thinking, fucking hell, and that was the first fight and the only ever fight that went the distance.
Right.
All the rest of them.
So he's a tough man.
Yeah, it was crazy. Cause, you know, he is what he was, and that man taught me a lesson, do you know what I mean? And I was lucky enough to beat him. Yeah. You know, but I remember after that, I met a guy called Bryce Smith, and he come in the change rooms and he went, "Who's taught you how to fight like that?" I went, "No one." He went, "No, who's taught you how to box?" I went, "No one." He went, "Right, come to the box. There's my number. Come to the boxing gym." And I just ended up training with him, and he ended up just showing me the fundamentals, the beginning of boxing, just the basics. And it was enough to me. I ended up winning Britain's hardest dominant and everything. Do you know what I mean? In the unlicensed boxing.
What? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I done all right.
Who did you face in there?
Wes Smith. Beat the Viking, big tough kid.
Yes.
He hit like an horse. I beat him, I knocked him out in about a minute.
A minute?
A minute?
What? Great.
I think what happened with Wes was he caught us a few times, and I remember just like shaking my head, just saying, and his ass fell out a bit, do you know what I mean? Massive respect to Wes though, because he was what he was, and he was probably my best win in unlicensed boxing, so massive respect to him. I don't want to disrespect his name.
Do you know how hard was it for you to transition from the sports?
It took me a few months to transition to K1, because I'll tell you why. It was funny because the heavyweight he's from the same area, and the area when I was growing up, it was all about making a name for yourself, being well known, being able to fight. Well, this kid from South Bank was a nobody, no name, no nothing. Right. But probably the toughest kid I've ever sparred with, and he was from the same area, and no one ever knew him. He was called Andrew Gibson. And no, you won't know him. You won't know him because he's quiet lad. And he was a lovely kid. And I went round the country sparring with lads, wiping the floor of them. This kid would give me 12 of the hardest rounds I've ever had in my life. And this kid lived on my doorstep. He was just a quiet scaffolder, normal lad.
Tough man.
Yeah, he was a brilliant man. But he taught me a lesson when I transitioned from boxing. Teep, the front teep of the foot, the little teep of the foot. Yeah. And I couldn't handle it. I didn't know what to do, because when he would teep, I would bring my hands down and he'd go bang. Right. So then he just sort of showed us.
Sharpened the technique.
Yeah. But when I transitioned to K1, it didn't matter then, because I could take your teeth away with a leg kick, bosh.
Right.
And I had a killer of a leg kick. I had a decent leg kick, so that would stop him from taking, stop him from moving.
Equaliser.
Yeah, of course it was. Yeah.
Equaliser. I've seen some of the fights last night, and oh god, some of them kicks, I was wincing just when you were cutting them up. Yeah. Moving on from adjusting to the sports, from non-licensed boxing to K1. When you were doing the K1, this might sound like a stupid question, but what country had the toughest man? Because went to Bulgaria last year, and some of the people that I've seen now, was just ridiculous. They were really tough.
When you watch like international fighters, something always seems different about the way they carry themselves anyways. That may just be down to the training that they've got back at home.
Possible, but
it varies for me, because if with me getting into K1 I was obsessed, and obviously when you're obsessed you're constantly watching it, so it's the Dutch style striking that I loved, the Dutch style striking. That to me worked perfect, because everything you swing, you're there to destroy. It's from a jab to a left hook to a leg kick, everything's set up not to go tip tap tap, it's to kill, bosh bosh bosh. Everything is flung with bad intention. But me personally, and I'm veteran from K1, the most conditioned, toughest fighters in this world are Muay Thai fighters. Muay Thai fighters, and a lot of them transition from to K1. The only difference is it's scored different. But my word, Muay Thai fighters with the shins, with the condition, I mean their fighting is scored by taking the damage as well as they can. That's why they load their arms up and offer a kick, because they're scored on how good they take it. Do you know what I mean? And I think that just shows conditioning. But I know I'm veering off the K1, but Dutch style for me was the striking technique for K1 is perfect. It's perfect, and that is second to none. The most conditioned is Muay Thai, without a doubt.
So you'll be a big fan of Bas Rutten's style then?
I am, yeah. Bas Rutten, and you know what? The Moroccan guys now are coming up as well. Badahari's unbelievable. And I think Badahari's unbelievable, not because of his conditioning, not because, just simply because if you're in there, he wants to kill you.
He does.
Do you know what I'm saying? And I think that man is just blinkers on. You either got to kill him or he's killing you. Simple. Do you know what I mean? And he's a legend as well.
Definitely.
I could sit here and go through it all day with likes of Ernest Oost and Bas Rutten and all these top strikers, leg kickers. Even in UFC, do you know what I mean?
Who's your so obviously you're a big fan of combat sports and stuff, what's your favourite? UFC, boxing?
K1's my favourite, my love. That's where me love affair is with. Of course it is, but I'm obsessed with UFC. I'm absolutely obsessed with
fighter?
Edson Barbosa I love.
He's explosive and unpredictable as fuck.
Simply in fact is because if he gets knocked out, he knocks you out.
Yeah, that's what
he's there to fucking fight.
I remember watching that, and I used to hate the grappling.
Yeah.
But the more I've watched it and studied it, and I think
it's an art, really, isn't it?
It is.
It's lovely to watch. Do you know what I mean? With the technicians that they're transforming, I think it's brilliant to watch. But I have to say, the likes of Jose Aldo and Edson Barbosa, and me being a striker, they are my favourite fighters. Yeah, of course.
Don't mind us asking, how old are you?
34.
Right. I think right. You're roughly the same age as me. I'm 35. If they had it back then, would you have chose jiu-jitsu or any form of grappling instead of K1?
No, I think I'd have been a striker. Striker through and through.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I would have loved to go back in time and do it all.
Yeah.
Do it all.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and it's like,
get it done.
when I look now and like I mentioned about the football, and you know, I even played cricket and hockey and all stuff, and county and all
just
that.
A natural sport.
You know what I mean? Yeah, but I just think that wouldn't have happened. You know, if I'd have been aware of what I was capable of now, then what I would, then I'd have done it all. I'd have done it all. Yeah, I'd have competed in every single combat sport there is. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a style.
I love out like that, mate.
Yeah, definitely.
I think fighters at the level that you look at, world champions and stuff like that, is a fucking born for it, man. Them hands were made for knocking people out.
Do you know what it is? I'm glad you said that, because I thought when I entered that top 10 rank, and see the fights that are on YouTube, it's only a smidgen of what I've done.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? It was like I fought I went to Western Superman, fought for the English title, fought some crazy dude down there. At the end of a pier.
At the end of a pier?
Yeah, it was unbelievable, the venue.
Yeah.
And this kid was crazy. He was absolute out and out killer, and he was, I tell you what, he was a lot better than me. He was a lot better than me. You could tell he trained as a kid. And I spoke to him afterwards, and he trained since he was being a bairn. He's technical, gifted, axe kicks, spin kicks, all that stuff. But he just wasn't born for it. Do you know what I'm saying? He could have been. I thought the amount of lads who were technically gifted, excellent spinning kicks and all that stuff, that was made for this shit, man. Do you know what I'm saying? So like, I destroyed him in the second round. Do Do you know what I'm saying?
No fucking about.
No.
Yeah, aye.
That, when you said that, you're either made for it or you're not, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's kids out there who work at talent and have it and can go all the way. Like, it's all hard work, do you know what I mean? I'm not saying I didn't work hard, do you know what I mean? But I believe that any of them top 5 I'd have destroyed just out being just my art and not ability, just art and
just the will to keep going.
Yeah, definitely.
Fucking mint. Bang on saying that when we were talking about like the certain people for I've boxed for 10 years, but I've just hung the gloves up.
Yeah.
Because fighting's not for me. I like analysing it. I don't get us wrong. I can box, I can move in that, but when it comes to getting in the ring, I lose all composure. And I know a few people like that. I've put years and years into it, but I can't give it any more. That's why I'm bouncing into this side of it. I get to talk to people like yourself.
Yeah.
But you're definitely made for it when you compete, and especially reaching levels like that.
Yeah.
Fucking absolutely class. I love it, mate.
Flipping things completely. How did it all go wrong and you end up in jail?
What it was is, with that life that I was living, the reputation and the ego and all that bullshit and that, you know, it kind of took a toll on me, to be fair, you know.
Right.
Like, my missus, God bless her, like, I've been with her since school, with my school sweetheart, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm still with her now. And I don't know how, oh God, do you know what I mean? But I put it the last farewell. But what happened was, with that life, the reputation, the bullshit and all that stuff comes, the rest comes with it, the free drugs, all that crap, the party life and that. And I quickly realised that I had a very bad addictive personality.
Right.
You know, and I think it shows in many aspects of my life, where even still today, even though I haven't touched a drug or drank for nearly 8 years now.
Oh, wow.
You know,
that's amazing.
Yeah,
well done.
It still shows, like, I'm obsessive about gym, about food, about anything that makes me feel good I can be obsessive about. But in them days it was drugs, cocaine, ecstasy, tablets, weed, everything.
Anything that got
and it caused me to do stuff to get my drug of choice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like robbing people, you know, doing all that bad stuff. And I quickly deteriorated from being one of the decent, hard kids around the street to an absolute fucking scumbag. You know, and I was half a man, I was shadowing myself, I was in a vulnerable place. There was people coming for me, and my house got shot up, and you know, gun crime and everything. You know, so I ended up arming myself in protection, and I got caught with this gun, and I got a decent jail sentence for it.
It's very unfortunate, mate. It really is.
It is, but you know what? I think everything happens for a reason. What's meant for you won't go around you, and I believe that, you know, that walk of my life was meant to happen, because I wouldn't be sat here today telling you I'd probably still out trying to use successfully, or doing whatever I was doing. Do you know what I mean? So I'm grateful for everything. Do you know what I mean?
Tell us how that felt when the judge said time.
You know what? I remember getting remanded. I caught with the gun, get remanded. I was off my fucking rocker. So for a few days it didn't sink in. Do you know what I mean? But then my missus come to see me with my kids, because I have kids early doors with her. Do you know what I mean? We had my first daughter when I was like 16-year-old. So when my missus would come to see me, that's when it hit. Because I had a baby boy as well, John. I've got 3 kids now. But my baby boy my boy's 9 now, but he was only little when he was coming to see me. And after a while I was getting letters like, oh, he's crawling now, he's walking now. You know, and I don't care how big of a man I thought I was, or how hard I thought I was. I cried most nights in my cell. Most nights. And when I used to go in after association and stuff like that, I would take all the pictures down off my wall and put them away to where I couldn't see them. You know, I was just lay there and look at them.
Just to shut yourself mentally off. So, training in jail, is that what kept you mentally focused and giving you a mindset?
My sentence was a bit of a blur to me. I'm not going to lie. You know, I'm not going to put it up, mate. It was involved in drug taking, lifting weights, taking steroids, and being an angry individual. Right. You know, and
well, just to say, the prison is, you've got to be that way.
Yeah, of course you
mentally, because
made good friends in there. Don't get me wrong. You know, I made 1 or 2 lads I'll be friends for life with. Do you know what I mean? But it was a horrible place. You know, to be locked up, to be told what to do every day.
You've had your freedom totally taken.
Yeah, of course you have, and I wasn't used to that. Do you know what I mean? It was a place I never thought I'd end up. I don't know why. I was living a life of fucking destruction. Do you know what I mean? So for some reason, why I didn't think I was going to end up in there was beyond me. But I did. and my sentence was hell, you know, but put a brave face on, stuck my chest out, and I walked on the wing like a young did.
How did it feel coming out?
You know what? It was mad because through my sentence, right? I'm gonna give this guy a shout. I'm gonna tell you about him. Through my sentence, I started reading. Right. You know, and I'm not a stupid lad. I was quite clever. I just never give myself a chance. You know what I mean? Yeah. Started reading books and there was a guy on it when I opened his book called Shane Taylor, and I knew him, and he was this guy. He was an out and out killer. Was off his head, and I'd run into him when I was young. And he was in this book about ranting, raving about God and about being a Christian and how he's changed his life around. And this guy was on the run for like 3 attempted murders, and he'd done like 8 years solitary confinement, like top 6 deadliest prisoners, mate. Wow. You know what I mean? In Britain, like off his head, like mental. And I wrote to him, and he couldn't visit me. I wrote to him, he couldn't visit me. He's my brother today, my brother in Christ today, you know what I mean? And when I got out, we become really good friends, and we stayed in touch, and you know, he carried the message strong to me, you know, and he helped the Lord into my heart, and I become a Christian, and life opportunities just come from everywhere, to pro, and you know, movie things happening, and I become a good dad, a good husband to my wife, and everything just happened, fell into place, you know, and this man he's like my brother today, do you know what I mean? So that from my prison sentence, this is why I was mentioning I was grateful for everything that happened to me, because through my troubles and the struggles, I met this guy called Shane, which I'd already knew anyway from being a youngster. Yeah. I mean, how I had a run him was crazy. I took a lad to fight his cousin, and I was tempted to join in because my mate was getting beat up, and he just whipped the knife out and went, "I will kill you right there now." Oh. I know when you just look at someone, you think, yeah, he definitely will.
He's not messing around.
Yeah, he definitely will him, like, you know, like, 100% he'll kill me. Yeah. So I just went, look, I'm splitting up, and he went, go on. So I split it up. I was only a young lad, so I split it up, and we went off, and I seen him dotting about, and then with years to come, he was stabbing and killing, and he'd stabbed 2 screws in prison, and he was off his head. His story's unbelievable, mate, unbelievable. And he's played a massive part in my life to bring God into my life, and you know, and put me on a different path that I never thought I would go on. Do you know what I mean?
Like guardian angel.
It's good to have somebody like that in your life, though. It's always
massive. You know, he's still my best pal today. He's still my brother. You know what I mean? He's,
definitely.
You know, it's
some people just become family man, don't they?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, playing Lee Duffy in the up and coming Sears movie. Let us speak about that. How does that feel? How you've been chosen specifically to play Lee Duffy? Now, how does that feel?
It's crazy. It's mental because, you know, growing up as a kid, you know, going through bits of bullying times in my life and picked on and stuff like that, and then realising what I was capable of when I get back and become a 15, 16-year-old and listen, you don't understand, like, Lee is like a living legend in South Bank. I live on the same area as him. You know, he's a living legend from where we're from. And I grew up listening to stories of him, like off my dad's mates, my dad, my mum, you know, everyone who knows him, especially all the old school lads who I'm good friends with, all of them. The stories I've heard.
We've just been in a taxi there on the way here with a taxi driver that knew him, and he was telling me a little bit about him as well.
A 15, 16-year-old, realising what I was capable of, listening to the stories about Lee, thinking, I want to be the next Lee Duffy. And it sort of groomed you, do you know what I mean? And it wasn't just me, there was like other kids who had kids in our area, in the Middlesbrough area, who knew Duffy and thought, I'm the next Lee. Do you know what I mean?
When he obviously passed and...
We passed when we were kids, so his stories become legend. Yeah, so when you were listening to stories about him, Paul, I seen him knock 4 or 5 lads out, bang, 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 another shot. Me lass's dad used to drive him, took him to Newcastle, took him everywhere, was good friends with him. His stories are legendary, man. Wow. Unbelievable. He's just been on the documentary, but like my lass's dad, I've been with my lass since I was 15. My lass's dad is
that a little guy with a dark hair?
John Daly he's called. I don't know. He's got fair hair, but his stories unbelievable. Some of the stories. And then for him to go, like I'm 17, 18 and now I'm banging everyone out, and he's like, Paul, you want to see an army of him, and I'm like, get it, you know what I mean? So for my life being like that, and then it's like to be obsessed around like how I was and stuff like that, you know, and then to get a phone call just out the blue, it's Paul Venis, how would you feel about playing Lee in a film? I'm like, fuck off. I thought, shut up, man, no way, do you know what I mean? I thought it was a wind up, joke. But it turned out to be serious, you know what I mean? I was like, well I said, how have you come across this? Like, I watch your fights on YouTube. I said, are you from the same area? You sound just like him. So who's this? And he was like, I think it was Stephen Sayers or one of them, do you know, one of them.
Yeah.
And he went, yeah, it's Stephen Sayers or something like that. And I was like, how you doing, mate? Alright. He went, I'll probably sound like him. He said, are you from the same area? Where do you live? I said, Steel Crescent. And he lived on Salisbury Terrace, which is just up the back of me.
Yeah, yeah.
And he was like, wow. He said, is this you on the videos? Yeah, you look like that. I was like, no, I'm a bit bigger than that now. He said, that's fighting weight, that. I said, I'm about 20 stone now, 19, 20 stone. And he was like, wow. He said, can we meet up? I went, yes, sound. But I was like, I put the phone, I was like, what's going on here?
Is that really
what's going on here, man? And I reached out to Jamie and I spoke to Jamie. And he was like, well, Paul, this could be massive for you, do you know what I mean? I was like,
definitely.
well, it's fucking dream come true.
It's how you kind of move on to bigger things, and plus your name's going down on something that everyone's gonna see, and
it's going to be huge in the North East.
It is. It's going to be
huge.
massive.
It was a bit worrying about like doing something you've never done before, you know, like acting and stuff like that. And but I met the director and a few of the guys and that, and they were like, they give me a little bit to play, and they said, go on, and I done it, and it was like. It was mad because, like, the life that I'd lived, I could just put myself in a situation where I'd been in a similar situation. Yeah. And you just walk through it as if it's real, and he was like, fucking perfect. He was like, wow. He said, look, he said, an actor couldn't do that. He said, that's perfect, Paul. And I was over the moon, do you know what I mean? I was thinking, yes, I made this. Yes.
Did you have to knock a couple of people out?
I slapped an actor. It was weird. It was weird. But I kept going. I kept slapping him and going, oh, you're all right. And he was going, stop, do it again. But every time I grabbed him, I'd go,
they all right.
But I felt like going, oh, don't worry. But I was like, I keep going like that. And they were like, stop it, man. I was like, oh, God.
So, have you done much? Obviously, you know a lot about Lee.
Yeah.
But have you done like research in like mannerisms?
Yeah. Well, my mum knew him very well. My mum was good friends with his sister. My dad knew him well. You know, they're all from South America. So everyone who's in my life, were good friends. All knew him. Good pals, knew him well. He always had his mouth open. He was very calm and collective until obviously, it was time. And he was just very cool, very calm. Yeah, always had his mouth open. As if he couldn't breathe through his nose. Yeah. I looked a bit dopey, but also a good-looking bloke. Do you know what I mean?
That's what. Honestly.
Do you know what it is? Like, no disrespect to Lee or the family or anything like that, but on his photos, don't do him justice sometimes. But most women I've spoke to, my mum and the other women, I said, look, he was a good-looking man. No. He was a good-looking man, yeah.
Good-looking, bro.
You know what I mean?
I think
I'm a better looking version, to be fair. Like.
I'm not going to argue with that. I'm not arguing with that now. I'm not arguing. Right, that's pretty much it. Wrapping it up with Paul. It's been a fantastic interview. It's been really nice getting to know him. I've really enjoyed it. It's been good. I'm
out of the moon with it, mate.
Very good.
Enjoyed it. Can't wait to be coming back down, getting more, staying in touch, because we're gonna have to stay in touch. Gonna have to get more when they're closer to the movie and that. But it's opened your eyes, like, I mean. I'm very happy with that, mate. It's been absolutely mint to speak to you as well, actually. Yeah, thank you. Mate.
Right, that's it. If you want to check out NuHemp.co.uk, they've got loads of CBD products from vapes, balms, oils, all sorts.